The worst plot armor moments of all time.
According to Google, plot armor is defined as the phenomena in fiction whereby the main character is allowed to survive dangerous situations because they are needed for the plot to continue. It's common to hear people referring to characters having plot armor when they are able to succeed in certain scenarios that should almost guarantee a failure. So in today's video, I want to talk about some of the more infamous cases of plot armor I can find in fiction, with each case ranging from minor offense to completely
There's a lot
asinine.
of options to pick from.
I think we need to understand what can actually be considered plot armor. After all, a singular definition can only do so much. Plot armor can extend to a lot of different situations, whether it be a character winning a fight they should have lost or escaping certain death. Shoot, some people see power-ups as a form of plot armor, but something that gets misconstrued is the fact that characters will need at least a little bit of plot armor to keep the story going. We are all aware that at least
a power-up is a plot armor? I mean, like, I guess it would depend on how you got it, I guess.
half of these series goals is to stop a villain by the end of the run, so it's only natural to have characters push past improbable circumstances or just not take as much damage as they should. It not only creates tension, but also keeps characters available for more plot lines later on. And besides, I think we can all imagine how a series without plot armor would look like. Yes, I'm looking at you. And in my opinion, the problem isn't necessarily just characters conveniently winning impossible fights or getting power-ups. The problem lies more so in the reasoning behind said conveniences. You can easily justify power-ups if it makes sense and is consistent with the story. Naruto has been seen losing control over the Nine Tails when emotions are running high, so we should not be shocked when he gets stronger when those conditions are satisfied. The problem with plot armor arises when a character has something go their way with no explanation. With no explanation, we just have to take what we're seeing for face value, and what we're seeing is straight BS. This is when people gotta craft some random theories to try to make sense of why their favorite characters survive certain doom. But you know what's even worse than no explanation? A bad explanation. People love using the reasoning that a series gives and treat it as irrefutable logic. They'll be like, bro, they explained why Batman survived that fall. It's because of his suit. Which, okay, that makes sense if the fall was from a window or something. However, how strong can this suit be to allow him to survive a fall from space, hitting the ground at terminal velocity and standing up like he only stubbed a toe?
Look at the suit, mind you, look at the suit. What type of coolant system, right? What type of coolant system, what type of fabric is this made of? Like, what type of coolant system can fit into this suit? Like, it's literally, the suit is, you can see the holes in the suit. The suit is thin as up. It's thin. It's extremely thin. If they would have, bro, if they would have said, if he would have like took the cape and wrapped it around himself as he was falling into the atmosphere, and then maybe as he got like lower, he opened it to like brace his fall a little bit, I could have even took that. But like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Maybe sometimes where he'll get hit in the back in a random different like comic or whatever, and his cape is made of metal, so it didn't affect him or something. It's like, yo, all right, bro.
This is egregious plot armor. Another example of a BS explanation is when Tanjiro just pulled thunder breathing out of his butt. We're running at full sprint for who knows how long, and then all of a sudden your leg gives out. Once I seen this, I was already looking at this scene kind of funny. Then he remembers a random conversation with Zenitsu about thunder breathing and can just do it like that? Terrible plot armor. Okay.
That whole little thing they had in the woods with that demon, with those demons, it was multiple demons. I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty trash. It was pretty trash. All of it. But what happened after was fire, but everything leading up to, I didn't like those demons at all.
You caught me. I just wanted to hate on Demon Slayer, but I won't lie. I know this whole thing makes sense because all other breathings are derived from sun breathing. So naturally, someone who has sun breathing can also do the other breathing techniques fairly easily. The explanation checks out, but this is one of those cases where I just have to accept that a lot of the theatrics were done for entertainment. And plus, I don't even need to bring up a moment like this if I wanted to talk about plot armor and Tanjiro. This demon should have murked Tanjiro multiple times during this battle. Better breathing shouldn't be helping injuries from attacks like this. But that's neither here nor there. I can ignore these moments because they are ultimately a net positive for the series and aren't really plot bending. It's a bit harder to ignore the plot armor of someone like Reiner from Attack on Titan. I feel like it was established fairly early on that he wasn't like that when it comes to the Titan shifters. Eren was beating him in their first fight and was going to actually win if not for Burrito's interference. Seeing him get dog walked by Eren, who wasn't even that experienced at that point, was enough for me to realize that Reiner was not built for any of these battles for real. And it turned out that those thoughts were not even headcanon. He was dead, not even meant to be on this mission. So anytime I see him have a near-death experience, I just kind of roll my eyes. His existence after the second season is kind of mind-boggling. I know he's a Titan shifter, but seriously, some of these things he's surviving surely bring up at least some questions. Realistically, when Levi caught Reiner and stabbed him twice, he should have been cooked, and we'll ignore the fact that Levi had enough time to stab him twice, but not slice off his head for some reason. We'll ignore that. Not like it would have mattered anyways. One of the places Levi hit was the neck, and Reiner didn't even struggle to transform. This is when we learned that he transferred his brain.
That's not struggling to transform. I think that's looked like a struggle to me. He struggled at least a little bit. If he would have, bro, you should be able to transform off of any like little injury. So like, but the fact that he even had that scene on the ground struggling was that's a struggle. But I don't mind any of this Reiner stuff. I would not put Reiner in a category of plot armor.
Brain's consciousness to the rest of his body to transform. Okay. And he does it again when he's able to regenerate after his head gets blown off. I mean, like, sure, it's explained, and it's not really a bad explanation either, and Loki just feels like we really need Reiner to survive, so let's let him have this one thing so he doesn't get absolutely cooked in these battles. But fine, whatever, I can get over myself. But this type of stuff happens so often throughout the series for him. People even meme him by calling him the plot armor titan. It feels like Reiner's whole existence has been him being unable to die. Oh yeah, that's right. Jaden, that's kind of like one of the main points of his character. Still plot armor though. Another wild case of plot armor was Luffy versus Crocodile.
This right here was gross. This should have been the first one. This was disgusting. As I was watching it in real time, I said, nah, boy, let's watch, bro.
I feel like this is one of the more blatant examples of a character having plot armor. Luffy was no match for Crocodile. Crocodile was untouchable in this fight, literally. This fight was honestly just a showcase for all of Crocodile's abilities. This was the first fight Luffy straight up lost, and he got stabbed in the torso because of it. And what did we even expect? He fought Crocodile in a freaking desert. This man Luffy was battered, bloodied, and abandoned in a ditch. There was no debating it. Luffy was,
mind you, he sucked all of the juices out of him. He took the water out of his body, Crocodile, and left him there to die.
Dead to rights here. But then at Death's doorstep, Robin comes to save him because of plot. Okay, what do you want me to say? We can say that Robin was curious because of his initial D, but at this point in the story, Robin was not a Straw Hat. She had no reason to help Luffy for real. So this just happened to make sure Luffy stayed alive for the rest of the story. But I'm fair, I'll let that one slide because it's the main character. This isn't even the worst piece of plot armor in Alabasta, and I think we all know who I'm referring to. It's our avian friend, Pell. During the final battle of the arc, there was a bomb that was threatening.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go on to the second fight. The second fight, I don't know what you call it. Luffy shouldn't have won that fight because Crocodile is just supposed to be crazy stronger than Luffy, like point blank period. Like he's supposed to be like so much stronger than Luffy at that point. It doesn't make sense. But because I don't think Oda had hockey all the way like solidified exactly. I think he had it, but he didn't have it like definitely not armament hockey because he should have lost that fight, bro.
To destroy a large chunk of Alabarna, the capital of Alabasta. Pell grabbed this bomb, carried it into the sky, and sacrificed himself to get the bomb away from everyone. It's very noble to use your own life to save thousands of others. What? Is this a flashback or something? Why is he still alive? Pell should have been in someone's air fryer at this point. The only way the bomb could have had a cleaner hit on him is if he ate the dang thing. Mind you, this bomb was getting hyped up a lot throughout the last parts of the arc, and Pell just comes out of it unscathed, no explanation.
Yeah, for him to survive, for him to have survived that must mean like you could have left that on the ground low key. If the dude literally carrying the bomb away survived it and is able to walk again, you could have left that thing where it was and it wouldn't have did that much damage.
Dare one of you guys to give me a good explanation as to why someone could survive this. And I'm gonna tweak out if someone talks about him being a peregrine falcon. And before I get into one of the main perpetrators of having plot armor, if you're enjoying this video so far and you're new, you might as well subscribe. Anyways.
And it's a bomb that he's carrying up, but it's under him, right? So when the bomb explodes, his body is getting flung even higher in the air than he already took the bomb. And then it's landing onto the ground. So how did neither the bomb or impact on the ground kill him? That's crazy.
Let's talk about our favorite hero, Batman. And I've already touched upon him in this video, cause let's keep it a buck. This whole video could be about Batman and his plot armor. He's the main one guilty of it. First, let's get this out the way. Almost every single fight between him and Superman is already riddled with plot armor for Batman. It makes sense why it happens, but it's still BS. I like their fight in Justice League War because it goes how we expect it to go. Superman is just dog walking him at all points. Nothing Batman has works on him, and any attack he throws at him gets shrugged off. Granted, this is their first encounter in this universe, so Batman doesn't have the dreaded two-word phrase we don't speak of. Nevertheless, any fight between Batman and Superman should go something like this. Batman cannot keep up with super speed as a human. You can't even use the argument of Superman not wanting to hurt Batman because he wasn't even trying to murk him in this fight. He was trying to get info out of him the entire time. I guess we just forget Superman has super speed or something. He doesn't even need to knock out Batman. He could just incapacitate him in the blink of an eye. Kryptonite should barely be a factor too, unless Superman gets snuck with it. There's no way a simple rocket power punch is knocking down Superman like this. Batman's plot armor also extends past Superman to other powerful beings as well. Remember that one time Batman one-shot Sinestro with the Batarang? Don't rewind, you heard what I said. Remember that one time Sinestro, one of the strongest members of the Lantern Corps, got knocked out in one hit by a Batarang. What the heck is this thing made of? The most powerful weapon in the universe can be countered by a freaking boomerang shaped as a bat. I'd argue that superhero media like Marvel and DC are even more guilty of plot armor than anime. Like, you'll see a regular person like the Punisher who bleeds the same way as you and me beating up people like Doctor Doom and Wolverine, cause that makes sense. With that type of plot armor, give me 5 months and a bunch of weapons and I'll beat the Fantastic Four by myself. Moving back to anime, we have one of the more infamous examples of plot armor, Killer Bee versus Sasuke. Let's get this out the way. Sasuke probably should have lost this fight. This fight was one of the most disrespectful and embarrassing L's for a character I've ever seen. Killer Bee was impaling Sasuke, writing rhymes, and clowning his entire crew. If Karin weren't there to heal him, Sasuke obviously would have been packed up way.
That's not plot armor. That's kind of dumb because he sought out. She's on his team because of him. You can't even say like she was assigned on his team. He picked this team to help him, and they came through clutch and helped him. Like, what? How's that plot armor? Yes, Sasuke got whooped on, beat up mercilessly. It's one of the worst L's in the history of anime. But what you gonna say? Like, you gonna say it's plot armor because the people that are on his team helped him? What? So if Sakura heals Naruto, is that plot armor? Like, what are we actually talking about? What are we actually talking about? That is a perfect explanation.
Earlier, even when Sasuke caught Bee in a genjutsu, Bee just got up and hit Sasuke with a lightning lariat, and saying this attack did major damage is an understatement. Sasuke's neck, organs, and chest were all severely injured, but after getting healed yet again, Sasuke gets up and uses Amaterasu to win the fight. Just like that. Sasuke was dead to rights like 3 times in this fight, but he somehow wins? Nope, nothing suspicious going on over here. Like, this isn't.
That's, I mean, you could say, yeah, if he was there one-on-one, he would have lost for sure. You can't just outright call this plot armor because he got helped by his teammates. That's whack. That don't make
even
sense.
Me trying to call Sasuke weak. There just should have been another way to showcase Killer Bee's strength without Sasuke dapping up the Grim Reaper every 5 minutes. The way it was done originally makes it look like Sasuke has crazy plot armor. Switching up the.
I disagree. I think the fact that he killed Sasuke 3 times is literally the best way to show how crazy Killer Bee is. He killed Sasuke 3 times, and I think there was a point in time where he was 3v1ing Sasuke, Jugo, and Suigetsu. So I don't know how you could better show his strength in that fight, but maybe that's just me.
Media again, I want to look at a popular movie series that is riddled with plot armor. It's the Karate Kid series. The Mr. Miyagi meat writer himself, Daniel LaRusso, should have lost like 2 of these finals in these movies. For context, Johnny was the champion for the past 2 years. Then Daniel comes in with a couple weeks of karate experience and wins with the injured leg. Fine, whatever, who cares? It's plot armor for a happy ending. It's something we can all expect at this point. However, that's not the worst case in the series. In the final movie of the trilogy, Daniel was flat out losing the entire time in the finals. And this was the plan, to make sure Daniel knows pain. However, it only took one moment for Daniel to focus, and he scores a point on the guy who was thrashing him the entire fight. I know he was scared before, so it was affecting him in the fight, but I refuse to accept that being the only thing that changed. Matt was beating him consistently throughout the movie, and it wasn't really close either. But 10 seconds of kata and a speech from Mr.
I'm not. Maybe fighting's a little different of a sport, which I assume it would be. One-on-one fighting is like a whole different thing, but I feel like it's just a thing in sports to be able to come back when you're down. Now, can you always complete the comeback? No, but a lot of times in the second half of a lot of sports, you go into the locker room at halftime and you lock in and you come out and perform way better than you did in the half. Realistically, you could honestly say it works better for fighting if you really think about it. Because say you do this in football, right? Say you have an abysmal first half, you getting whooped. It's like 21-0, right? But then we'll say 28-0. And then you come out the second half and you drop 21 straight in 4 minutes. If you take that into the fighting, into in like terms of fighting, I feel like that makes a little bit more sense because if you like actually get to sit down and break in between in the middle of your fight, and you're like, bro, I gotta lock in, I gotta lock in, I gotta lock in. As long as you didn't get injured in the first half of the fight or like bruised badly or brutally, I think you could actually do that easier in fighting than any other sport. Well, then you got stamina and stuff, and they don't get a full halftime. Eh, I think it's possible though.
Did Miyagi change that? Either Matt Barnes is dumb as bricks or Daniel Russo is just that much better at karate than him. So yeah, Matt Barnes is just dumb as bricks. And contrary to popular belief, plot armor also exists in real life. Let me paint the scenario for you. Imagine in the One Piece universe, pirate crews were able to trade crew members between each other. Imagine after Wano, after Luffy just beat one of the Emperors of the Sea in Kaido, Zoro looks at him and says to himself, yeah, I don't think this guy can lead us anymore, so I'm gonna send him somewhere else. And then in the middle of the night, Zoro talks to Shanks of all people and trades Luffy for Ben Beckman without telling any of the other Straw Hats. He also just throws Usopp in the trade because why not? What I've just described to you is the best analogy I can think of when explaining the Luka Doncic trade in anime terms. The trade makes no sense and there's no justification for it besides plot armor.
It's no justification that you know. But behind them scenes, yeah, there's reasons for sure.
It's the only thing that can make sense. I'd also say that character revivals can be considered plot armor depending on the circumstances. This rings true.
Call this plot armor whatever you want. This was needed. That, bro, the replacement they got for Brian, trash, cheeks, booty.
Even more when there's no good explanation as to why it happened. Guess which series I'm gonna use? Just guess.
The power to save lives is within you.
Oh,
Donate plasma and get paid for your time.
Cool.
Thanks for coming in to talk about Doug Jr.
Of course. Third grade is when I learned Liberty Mutual could save you hundreds by customizing.
Ding, 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 ding. It's the Flash. For context, Iris West just dies because Barry hits her with Speed Force Lightning. I would say it's a long story, but that's just what happens. So she should be out of the story at this point, right? Apparently, she's one of the ones who can just choose not to be dead anymore. That's the only explanation to give you. That's it. Since she's not supposed to be dead, she can just be like, no, and come back to life. Okay, this last portion of the video is a bit personal to me, and I'm honestly wondering if this even counts as plot armor. I'm not gonna directly spoil the series I'm talking about, but if you find yourself reading into clues too often, skip to this time of the video. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna spoil the series. So
no, you're not about to spoil me. Oh, JJK manga spoilers. Yo! What, boy? Tripping. Appreciate the what's it called though? To 11:37. That's the end of the show. That's the end of this season, or the end of the vid.
Opportunities to rant about the JJK manga, but I think it's well warranted. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and
all right, bro. WVid, bro.